Hey everybody, so I just got this new Akai MPK261 because it looked really good with all the expandable options. With the bank buttons for the drum pads, that gives me 64 pads total plus the full level, 16 level, all the cool stuff that Akai is known for. And then the control bank, you can put you got 3 banks of that, so you got 24 knobs total, 24 faders, and 24 buttons. I want to show you guys how to map this thing because I had a little issue with it at first that I got figured out, and everything is really cool now. I really enjoy this controller. This is specifically for the 261, but most of these principles will generally work with the stuff that you have, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm gonna touch on a few things that are specific to the Akai, and I want you guys to know that it will be a little different for you if you don't have the Akai, but that's okay. First, I want to say that for the Akai people, your tap tempo button, that's not going to work. It's not going to work, period. And a lot of people have kind of been frustrated about that a little bit. And it looks like it's more of an Akai problem than it is a Presonus problem. When you go to try to edit the buttons to see what sort of control they send, or a control message they send, it just says tap tempo, so it's kind of locked into the Akai, the MPK. So that won't work. So don't get your hopes up too much about that. But everything else will work, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So you're going to go in Studio One. You're going to hit Studio One. I'm on PC, and I think it's just Options if you're on a Mac. And I'm going to go to Options, and I have external devices already clicked here. All you need to do at this point, as you guys can see, I have it already done, but I'm going to add it again just to show you exactly how to do it, and it's just going to be like a dummy copy. So click Add, New Keyboard. I'm just going to leave it called New Keyboard. MIDI channels, all. You're going to want to receive from MPK, and I'm getting this because I've already done it, so you may not see this, and if you do, just click OK anyway. So click OK, and then you select the Send To for the MPK261 as well. Okay. Now I already built this new instrument. You can build one. You're going to have to build one, and I also named it the 261. I made it Send and Receive From, and when you do that with this, you're going to have to click OK because it's going to say it may cause a conflict. But it's okay because what this is going to allow you to do is send MIDI clock start and time code to your MPK261, and that's going to give you the power to do metronome locked note repeat and metronome locked arpeggiator. Which is really cool because you try to do that without the lock and it's going to be all over the place. So the tempo will sync to the Akai MPK261 if you do this properly, and that's all you have to do with that. And then you just click OK, and you should be good to go. Now, what you're going to do is, if you see down here in the external devices, if that's turned off, just turn it on, and then you'll see what you've already set up in your device panel. Excuse me. Now you double click New Keyboard, and you're going to get this window. This is the MIDI device window. I'm going to just expand it out a little bit to make it bigger so that you can see all the controls. Now, like I said, this is for the 261, but that does not mean you can't use these general principles for any controller you have. So what you have to do at this point is click MIDI Learn. Once you click MIDI Learn, you have to twist all of your knobs. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do this. So that says, you see, control 1 through 8. Now, before I move to my faders, there's 8 knobs, 8 faders, and 8 buttons. Before physical, 8 physical faders, 8 physical knobs, and 8 physical buttons. Before I move on to my faders or my buttons, I'm going to hit Control Bank B on the controller. That's going to allow me to get messages to the knobs for the second bank. All right. And then I'm going to hit Control Bank C, and that's going to give me another 8 controls for the controller. Now, the cool thing about that is this. You go back to Control A, and then you move your faders. Now, as you see, these are faders I'm moving, but they're coming up as knobs, and I'm going to tell you how to deal with that in a second. So I'm going to hit Control Bank B, and I'm going to move my faders again. Alright. Now we're going to hit Control Bank C. We're going to move the faders again. Now that should be all of your faders. Now I'm going to hit Control Bank A again, and that's going to allow me to do the switches. So I'm going to go the switches. I just clicked them all. You know, I ran my finger across them. You probably could hear that. And I'm going to hit Control Bank B. That's all the switches again. And then I'm going to hit Control Bank C. That's all the switches again. Alright, now we are done. We can go back to Control Bank A if you want. You can now go back. You see all the knobs like I told you. You can now actually go back in Studio One and turn everything that is not a knob into what it truly is. So you can just count it here. You know, each bank of 8. So there's going to be 8, and it's going to be 16, and then you gotta have 24. That's going to be your knob bank. Now all you have to do is, starting on 25, that we remember how we did it. We went through bank A, B, and C for just the knobs, and then started back over to bank A for the faders. Now faders is basically, if you could just do the math, it's going to be 25. The first fader is going to be 25. So if you right click on it, you turn it to a fader. And you just do that for all of them, and as you do that, you'll see it's going to turn it into a fader, and that's going to let you represent it as a fader. Whoops, I turned that to a button. Alright, fader. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, now that is 3 banks of 8, which gives you 24 faders. Now remember, the last one we did was the switches. We're going to right click on those, and we're going to turn them to button on off. Alright, button on off for all 3 banks of the switches. Button on off, button on off, button on off, button on off. Alright. Let's see, wait a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Alright, now what's really cool about this is, before I get, this is going to be very specific to the Akai MPK261. And I want to tell you, the reason I'm mapping this stuff out original and not using presets is because some of the presets may be set not the way you would want them to be set. So I just make sure I make it completely custom between the controller and the software. So now what I want to show you guys for the Akai 261 specifically is, I can't show you the keyboard right now, but under the little main display where it says preset, or whatever it says in the little blue display window with words, you hit the edit key. And then after you hit the edit key, what you do is you hit the button that you want to deal with. So you have to do this if you want to map the transport buttons. Otherwise, the transport buttons are seen as one MMC MIDI message control lump, and it works. But if you want to map your loop button to the loop button, you're gonna have to do it this way. So you hit your edit button, and then you hit let's say your rewind button. When you hit that rewind button, it's going to tell you all the information about it. So you're going to hit, it's going to say MMC. If you just turn the knob to MMC, or I'm sorry, if you just turn the knob to where it says MIDI CC, that's going to make it MIDI CC for all of those buttons. So you're going to, if you see where it says Control 73, that's my rewind button. That's my forward button. That's my stop button. That's my play button. That's my record button. And then there's the loop button. Now, all you do from here for the Akai MPK is this. You right click on it and you make it a button press release. You make all of those transport buttons button press releases. Okay? Alright, now that's done. What you do at this point now is you just simply right click on it and you assign a command to it. And if you search for transport, it's going to give you all of your transport buttons here. So now at this point, if you want to do rewind and forward, Studio One's a little odd with the rewind, because if you just use normal rewind, which is this one here, if you push the button, it's just going to rewind the thing all the way back. Excuse me. Or if you hit the forward button, it's just going to forward the tape head's just going to forward all the way through the whole song into the, just past into infinity basically. So you have to choose rewind bar. So you basically have to push the button a few times, but it'll be a bar a piece. But that'll help you so you don't have to stop the tape head. You can just hit the button and it'll take it, advance it, or rewind it a bar. And so we're going to go ahead and do that to the forward bar as well. So this is the forward button. Remember I told you guys this was rewind, this was forward. You kind of have to do it in your head a little bit, but it's okay. Then you right click on this when you assign command transport. This is stop. Alright. This one play is a little weird in Studio One. Again, you have to toggle start, because of what that'll do is if you hit play, you can toggle it and it'll start and stop with play. I like doing it that way. If you just want to just play and then you hit stop, you can choose normal start. Then this would be assign the command transport. What did I tell you guys this was? This was record. Alright. I think this was record. And then the last one, we'll assign the command. This will be loop. You just go into transport and then you go to toggle loop. Okay, so that's going to give you your transport control over Studio One. Now, before I stop this video, I'm going to show you something I really like to do. When you have buttons that are on off, you'll see that all of them have this little dark red it's actually a light, but it just looks like a dark red icon or something on the button. But what you do when these are like this, you can right click that control and you can select transmit value. Now what that does is that gives feedback back to your controller, and I really like it, because let's say you're turning on the first switch to do an EQ move or something like that. Now, if you click the button, it's going to turn it on. If you assign it through Control Link to the EQ, it's going to turn that button on, and it's going to be on. But if you click that button with your mouse in the software, the light on the controller won't light up, and the reason it won't light up is because it's not the value of that button is not being transmitted back to the controller. So make sure if your buttons have lights on any of your controls to transmit the value. Okay, that'll send the intelligence of whatever's happening in MIDI inside of the software back to the controller. So that'll also work if you do, let's say your faders have this is not for non-Akai MPK. If your faders have like a light next to them that lets you know where they are, you could right click on there and transmit values to that. And if your encoders or your rotary knobs have lights that show the status of where the knob is, like a lot of the Livid stuff has that. So if your controller can show where you are, you just right click on the knob and click transmit value. So when you turn the knob in the software, it'll actually turn the knob on your hardware. Now, I'm sorry, no, let me say that differently, because I don't want you guys to get confused. When you turn the knob in the software, the light on around your controller knob, if you have one, will light up and increase as the value increases in the software. So it won't actually control the knob itself unless you're dealing with some sort of motorized knobs. Then it will, but we're talking about the Akai here. So that is pretty much it. You turn off MIDI Learn and you close it out, and whatever you want to open, let's say Pro EQ. Like I have this already mapped to my MPK, but I'll show you guys how it works. So I'm in Bank 1, and you can see now that I have Control 1 mapped to the frequency of, I have this mapped to the frequency of my low cut. Turn the switch on, and we can actually see the low cut working. I'm actually turning the knob. I'm not using a mouse. So that's really nice. I really like the MPK261. I think it's a fantastic piece. I think it's the best MIDI controller that I've ever used, especially that it allows you to have 4 banks of pads, which gives you 64 total pads. It also gives you 3 banks of knobs and faders and buttons. I wish that the control bank was 4 banks so that you could have, you know, a total of 64 controls instead of the 48. I guess that would be. I'm not sure what the math is, but you can do the math yourself. Something else. Just a last little tip for the Akai MPK261 people. On your 261, you're going to see a DAW control on the left side, above the tap tempo and note repeat buttons, and that's really cool because in the Akai you can make that DAW control do any key command you want to do. So I have it right now set up as standard, as stock. So the up button is basically the up arrow. The down button is the down arrow, the left button is the left arrow, the right button is the right arrow, and the middle button is the enter button. So if I'm working in, let's say, Battery or a program that has things like that'll let you use your kit or scroll through your sounds, I'm using the DAW control button on the 261. So I'm down, 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 or up, 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 up. And if you could move left or right, it would work for that. And let's say you wanted to load a kit, all you have to do is hit enter, and there you go. That's the middle button, which actually represents enter. You can control that on the 261 if you hit edit and hit the buttons on the DAW control, and then you can change the values of those to transmit whatever key command you want. It's a two level key command, so you can do a shift control, but it's not a 3-level key command, so you can't do the more complex, shift control, S or whatever. If I'm not sure if that's even a key command, but for an example. So the DAW control works really well when you're in other software, and everything, of course, as you guys know, with Control Link is mappable. So if this is Battery, I could control turn the filter EQ on or compressor on or whatever if I wanted to assign it. I'm not assigning it right now because with things like this, I like to have basically 1 control per parameter for stuff like that, and the banks won't allow me to have enough knobs or faders to control everything I'd like to control. But that's not really a complaint. That's just a state of fact. So guys, I hope that really helped you. I tried to make this video quick. I hope I didn't go too fast. I didn't want to blaze past you guys and leave you wondering where I am. So watch the video a couple of times if you have to, if I went a little quick. Hopefully this will answer a lot of questions for the people with Akai MPK261s. Once again, Akai, please do something about the tap tempo button. Give it some sort of control. Maybe you can issue a firmware update or something like that that'll allow you to assign tap tempo. That would really improve the mouseless use of this keyboard controller with any software, honestly. And now I know tap tempo does work for other DAWs, but I'm in Studio One, so that's where my complaint is. I don't have a complaint about it in general because it will work in, I think, Ableton and some other DAWs, but I'm using Studio One and it doesn't map and it doesn't work and it's not really mappable So I would really like to see that mappable in the future. So there you go, guys. Your rewind and forward, as you can see, they work. If you can look at the left hand next to the battery, I'll close this window. Rewind and forward work. Stop works. Play works. Well, play's not working because I didn't assign it with this thing. But anyway, with my normal setup, I'm going to delete this after I turn the video off. After my normal setup, everything is working. The loop button is working, and the feedback with all the lights and everything is working. So it's a really nice full feedback controller experience, and as close to perfect as I've seen any controller get when you're using it for audio production. So alright, guys, have a great time and trying to get this done, and ask me any questions in the video in the comment section below, and I hope that this was helpful for you, and I'll see you next time.